I went to University of Wyoming in 1991, broadcast journalism major, and I graduated in 1995. So I grew up in Wyoming in a little town called Worland, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard about, and had gone out to Oregon for high school. Our family moved around a little bit and went back to UW. Loved the sizes of the classes, loved everything about the campus, and knew that I always wanted to go there. So it worked out well that I was able to go back, but really enjoyed my time there as a broadcast student. Worked at the campus television station, UW-TV, and also did some radio while I was there. And that led me to KGWN in Cheyenne, the CBS affiliate, and I was started as an intern and worked my way up to sports director after about a 4-year period, and ended up moving back out to Oregon, to Central Oregon. Worked at a small market television station there for the NBC affiliate, and switched over to the news side. I was doing sports broadcasting for several years, switched over to news, and then ultimately retired from television in 2001 and moved over to real estate. And so real estate, I was doing mortgages, and we ended up moving back to northern Colorado, one, so I could be close to UW, but also that's where my wife at the time's family was from. And we knew we could be close and still keep family happy. So ended up there and switched over to title insurance. So as it is today, I do business development for a real estate title insurance company. So after about almost 10 years of television, now I'm going on 20 years of real estate business development and sales. So that's kind of the long path that led me there. My communications degree wasn't just broadcasting and all day long, every day. I'm communicating with potential clients, current clients, setting up events, and trying to bring business in the house. So although I'm not doing broadcasting anymore, besides these Zoom calls we've been doing since COVID, I'm definitely using my communications degree from UW. One of the really cool things that I loved about UW, especially once you got towards your junior and senior years, the class sizes were so small. So you really got hands-on experience, you got one-on-one experience with your professors and your instructors. And having been an intern at UW-TV and then ultimately working at UW-TV, everything was within the realm that we could do. There was nothing off limits. So if we wanted to interview students, we'd go interview students. If we wanted to interview professors, we could do that. If we wanted to cover some sporting events, anything we wanted to do, we just told them this is the path they want to take, and they said do it. And so it was really hands-on. The students pretty much ran everything, but you got the advice from people that had been in the industry before or had been lifelong instructors. So there's a good combination of real-life experience and in theory experience too. So my time in the broadcast journalism at UW was great because it was less book learning and more experience learning. So as I've taken it into the real estate world and noticed the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Some of that is true. I mean, you learn a ton of book and theory learning, but the contacts that you make are really what make your career and what make your life fulfilled. So Wyoming's a small population. People know everybody seems to know everybody. So you can be traveling all over the country, and if somebody sees Steamboat on your shirt, they're going to say, "Go Pokes," and you probably know somebody from a small town or from Laramie. And so University of Wyoming definitely gave me the opportunity to meet a ton of people and people that could shape decisions later on in life. So I just was very fortunate that I got to know a lot of people, and it's a numbers game. And in broadcasting, especially on-air broadcasting, there's a lot of people looking for the same positions. So it really helps you stand out by who you know and the hands-on experience that you've got to do in your career or in your schooling. I'm obviously a sports fan, and I grew up watching UW, watching the Cowboys. So I got to cover the Cowboys 7 days a week. I also was covering high school sports, and then on the occasion, we'd cover the pro teams in Denver, especially if there was somebody from the conference or somebody from Laramie that had made it in the pros that happened to be playing the Nuggets that night or the Broncos. So I was in the 90s. I got to cover both the championship Broncos teams. I was in the locker room for all those games. When the Rockies came and the Avalanche came, I was right there. So I really got to do some awesome things as a sports fan. It kept you going very much all day, every day. We worked a lot of hours and didn't get paid a lot of money, but some of the experiences that we did were phenomenal. On the flip side of that, when I switched over to the news side, I was more used to celebrating people's accomplishments rather than getting excited for things that were happening in the news that weren't positive. So it was difficult. I did that for a couple years is all, and it was a little bit difficult for me. I wasn't wired that way to get excited for a multiple car pileup or things like that, or a death or a missing child. So there was definitely some times when it was dreadful. Some people thrive on that. That just wasn't me. I really enjoyed the sports side of it. So ultimately, it's a career that is awesome, great experiences, and then if you make it along the lines of an ESPN or another network, it's a really fulfilling career. I had a young family. I also had a wife at the time that was in broadcasting. So you're working 7 days a week. You're working every holiday. It's difficult. So rather than one or the two of us getting out, we both got out. And I knew somebody in a small town in Bend, Oregon, had about 50,000 people at the time, that owned a mortgage company and basically recruited me and said, hey, people know your face. You're outgoing. You can communicate with people. Come and learn mortgages from me. So that's how I switched over. Basically didn't really want to get out of broadcasting because it was great, but as a young family guy, it was a little bit difficult. It was more of a single person or a young person's career. Not to say that you can't have a family and do it. I happened to have a wife that also did it, so that made it difficult for both of us to do that. And you move around a lot if you want to get up to the bigger markets, and we really enjoyed where we were. So the logical choice was to go into business, and so I went into mortgages and then now ultimately title. But it was definitely a fun run while I had it, and now things have changed so much. Anybody can be a broadcaster because you've got an iPhone or you've got a laptop, or it's the way that we take in the news as a society has changed 180 since the late 90s, early 2000s. So it's really cool. There's a lot of opportunity for people now that are getting their broadcast degree to go out and to really thrive in ways that weren't even invented yet when I was doing it. Yeah, I mean, if I had to go back and do it again, I would take more business classes, more marketing classes. I was really focused on the broadcast side and didn't quite see the big picture that I may not always be in that world, and that a more general topic such as business can get you a lot farther in life maybe. So I would say, utilize your resources, talk to your advisor, and find out, if there's anything else you should be supplementing your degree with. And now the business school is phenomenal. It's always been good, but with the new actual building, it's phenomenal at UW. So it's a no-brainer. And then just basically to get plugged in. We work with a lot of young alum here in Northern Colorado, and we have picnics for the incoming freshmen at UW that went to high school in Northern Colorado. And that's the biggest thing we tell them. We're like, hey, when you get on campus, you're only an hour from home. Do not come home until Thanksgiving. Stay there, get involved in Greek life or get involved in some sort of a club. There's hundreds of clubs on campus, and really learn how to network, because that's what I do 24/7 now as business development for a real estate company is basically network and talk to folks and find out their needs and what they want to do with their lives. And maybe we can help each other out. And so if I would have known that a little bit earlier, maybe it would be, who knows? It would be even more success in my personal and my professional career. But I would say while you're on campus, get to know your professors, get to know your advisors, and then join a club or 10. Just really put yourself out there, and then you'll find the love that many of us alum have for the brown and gold. So get plugged in, and then the rest of your life is going to be like that too. Maybe 20, 25 years ago, a student didn't know why they should get to know the Alumni Association. But I feel now, and I've been on the board for a few years, and so I'm a little bit biased, but definitely go and visit you guys at the Gateway Center and find out what you can do as you graduate and utilize those contacts you've made. I think that an alum just basically needs to reach out to the Alumni Association, find out who's available in that geographic region and what they have going on. There might be a brown and gold network that gets together for watch parties for sporting events, or there may be welcome picnics for incoming students or things of that nature. There's all sorts of things going on all over the country. You just have to reach out and find out if you can pinpoint what's happening in your region. If I could go back to UW, I think the only thing I would do differently was get a little bit more plugged in on campus, maybe join some more clubs, get to meet more people and network, and then to really get to know your professors and your advisors on a personal level, as opposed to a teacher-student relationship. Just use their knowledge and use their contacts and really get to know everybody that you have at your resource.